I think there's a little pressure there for them to go, especially in the senior class, who hasn't been, but not with Cooper. He's felt the same pressure. He's got a new 5-year contract.
Now, the Boston College Eagles under Dan Henning have pretty much strengthened the same areas as Ohio State.
Well, let me select a team for the beginning of the year, and I'll say give me strong offensive and defensive lines and a good quality quarterback. Both teams have that. Mark Hartzell, the Boston College quarterback, Dan Henning thinks he's going to be really good. And the offensive line has 4 starters back, and their defensive line only loses Mike Mamula from last year. They led the Big East Conference in sacks. It should be a great game in the trenches.
It's kind of remarkable to me, though, Bob, that both these teams are starting the season with freshmen, babies, punters.
Well, true freshman punters. Yep. Kickers for Boston College who never kicked. The game could decide it in the kicking game very easily.
And you look at the special teams. They're freshmen all over the place on those teams.
Well, the first game of the year is like that. You lose the seniors. You bring in a lot of new freshmen. You don't know how they're going to perform, but these are the guys who are going to be the stars in years to come.
Here come the Eagles into the stadium. They're from Chestnut Hill. Community inside the Boston perimeter. Great history here with this team. A lot of Hall of Fame names like Doby, Leahy, and more recently Ruth, Flutie, and Foley. This the 3rd game between these two. The Buckeyes won the first 2, but not easily. A special commemorative coin brought to the Giant Stadium in the ball game by Mr. Gene Rear, district manager for Northern New Jersey U.S. Postal Service, one of the new sponsors of college football, handing the coin to the referee Michael Dover. And we're about ready to go as Ohio State won, deferred. They'll take the second half kickoff, and as the sun now is behind some clouds, cooling things a bit, let's check in with our colleague Lynn Swan.
That's right, Keith. The temperature was in the low 90s before. It has cooled down, but both coaches are concerned about the weather. When I spoke to Dan Henning, he said Hurricane Felix made sure that the training camp temperature was calm, so he is concerned this will be the hottest day for his team to be out with pads on. Darryl Porter last year had 2 games in which the heat was a problem, so we'll keep an eye on him. He is the starting quarterback for the Boston Eagles. Now, on the other side, John Cooper said this would be one of the coolest days for the Buckeyes. Temperatures soared into the high 90s and 100-degree area for his team, but he is concerned because he can't substitute his offensive line as frequently as he would like to. He will substitute liberally on defense, but he is going to go with those 7 guys he has planned to go with throughout the game on the offensive line, Keith.
All right, Swanee, the kicking game today is going to be a little bit of a mystery and a test of nerves among the coaching staff, as well as all these teenagers that are going to be out there slapping that thing around. Kicking off for Ohio State will be Mike Malfat, a 6'3", 205-pound sophomore from Dublin. That's just down the road from Columbus. And the Boston College Eagles, who will be wearing the white shirts today. That was their choice because they won the coin flip and they chose white shirts. And they're a little bit slow getting out on the field, and now I think the officials are going to go over and say, let's go, fellas. There's a game to play here. The officials, incidentally, are from the Atlantic Coast Conference. Michael Dover, the referee. Kenyatta Watson, the fine wide receiver and speed merchant for Boston College, will be playing, and he'll be back deep there. He has had a leg problem, and the question had been whether or not they would risk him on the opening kickoff.
Well, I think that tells you what they feel about his hamstring problem. He has been rusty, has not practiced a whole lot. They were hoping to get 35 plays out of him, but he's on the kickoff, so he must be feeling well.
Mike Cloud, running back, is back there with him. The knuckleball goes down the field. A penalty flag is down. The ball is grabbed short by Proutza as the game gets underway, and the kick was almost a whiff, but there's a penalty flag back up here where the ball was kicked. And obviously, if there's a penalty flag back there, it's going to be against the kicking team. And obviously, the receiving team is going to say, we'll take it where it is because we got good field position.
Encroachment, kicking team in the zone prior to the snap. Penalty decline, first down.
Opening at quarterback for Boston College, Mark Hartzell, and he's a big guy at 6'5". He's a junior. You see the numbers on him from last season. And the one thing they want to do is reduce that bottom number of interceptions. But he's a very efficient young man. He's been a good student, and they think he's going to be a heck of a quarterback. He comes out of Brockton, Massachusetts. So they put the ball down, first down, just shy of the 33-yard line, and here's the first play of the ball game. Justice Smith, a senior, will open at the running back position for BC. They use basically a single back. That's a tight end that's in motion. The ball goes to Smith. He finds daylight over the left side. He got good blocking from Brzezinski and Kendall, and he picks up just about a first down. Now the Chili's starting lineup. The Boston College backs and receivers are these. Justice Smith is the tailback. Todd Pollock, number 89, was the man who went in motion on that last play, and he has the responsibility of replacing Pete Mitchell at that tight end position. Some people might call him an H-back. Some would call him a wing. Kenyatta Watson is the speed burner, number 4, and he's wide at the top of your picture. So it is a first down on the first play for Boston College. Smith is hit behind the line of scrimmage, and the Buckeyes bury him for a loss on the play. Ryan Miller, number 43, was the man who led the defensive charge. The offensive front for Boston College is a good one, led by Pete Kendall. It's a big line. It's experienced, and it's anchored in the middle by Tim O'Brien, one of the O'Brien brothers. The other one is a starting defensive end. But this is a very good offensive front.
Kendall did not give up a sack all of last year. It'll be tough to say that after today's game. He'll be a key player.
Second down and 12. They run it with Smith again, working his way over the left side. This time the linebackers can't get to him until he has picked up about 7 yards, and Matt Bonhouse, trailing the play from his tackle position, brings him down. So Justice Smith showing well here in the early going, a senior from Amsterdam, New York.
Notice too, Keith, that all 3 of the first 3 running plays that Boston College ran were up the middle, inside of the outstanding 2 defensive ends for Ohio State, Vrabel and Finkus. They want to run inside of those 2 ends most of the day.
Now the Buckeyes show a bunch of folks. They got a 7-man front. Now they peel it off, and back goes the Hartzell. First pass of the game. Pass is incomplete. Penalty flag is thrown across the way. And let's see about the call. It could be a hold. Kenyatta Watson was covered by Brzezinski, the left linebacker. It is offside called against Ohio State. And I think that's enough for a first down. The defense and the people highlighted here, Finkus and Vrabel, are truly 2 of the outstanding defensive ends in the country. John Cooper says the best he's ever had. Bonhouse and Luke Fickle in the middle.
All 4 starters from last year, Keith.
The linebackers, this is a place where they need somebody to step up. Backers being Jerry Brzezinski, Greg Belisari, and Ryan Miller. And it's first down for Boston College as the ball goes over to the Buckeye 46-yard line. Smith is still in deep. The tight end is the man in motion. Now he becomes a blocking back. Ball goes to Smith. He goes outside, and this time they were able to pinch the defensive end, Vrabel, and they got around him. You got another flag on the field. This time it's holding against Boston College, and the run by Smith will be nullified. Clark Gaston Jr. is the umpire. Charles Neely, the linesman. Joe Ryder, the field judge. Richard Page, the line judge. Daniel Post, the side judge. And Bob Lowing, the back judge.
10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
The Eagles of Boston College were the most penalized team in the Big East last year, Keith. Take a look at today's officials.
As we told you, from the ACC. The ball comes back now to the Boston College side of the field. First down, and it'll be about 17. It was a 3-yard gain and a 10-yard penalty. So make it 1st and 17 at the 47. Smith, a little delay, gets back across midfield, taken down at about the Ohio State 48-yard line by Greg Belisari, number 30. He's playing that middle linebacker position, and the way Ohio State's showing their defense early on, he's out there kind of by himself in the middle.
Well, it's a good point, Keith, and he is, because the 2 ends, Finkus and Vrabel, are coming upfield, and that leaves 3 inside linemen to block the 2 defensive linemen and the linebacker, and that draw play worked very well.
Justice Smith, 5 carries and 25 yards. He's got all the yards so far for Boston College. He's got it again, and he's got another first down. Good, tough second effort as he shook off a tackler, and he's right about the marker. Just depends on where they want to put it down. He, I think, may be marked a little bit short.
Left guard Brzezinski is going to pull. It's a little draw trap. 74 is Brzezinski. He had no one to block in the hole. He had to look for somebody to block, and then just good running by the young man Justice Smith.
Yeah, he broke that tackle of Springs to get himself on up the field. Now it's Mike Cloud in to replace Justice Smith, who's given a breather in the early going, and he earned his lunch on that early minutes of the first quarter.
Well, the running game has gone very well, and there's only one running back in this Eagle offense. They have 2 tight ends and 2 wide receivers, 1 running back, and the running game has gone well, so they're giving him a little blow.
Mike Cloud, 203-pound redshirt freshman from Portsmouth, Rhode Island, and he may be the quickest of the running back core. He's big, too. They really like him. Hartzell gets his pass away down the middle. It is incomplete. The pass intended for Steve Everson, and Sean Springs, son of Ron Springs, former Buckeye star, went up to make the play, and he may be about as good as anybody in the country at cornerback. Stepped up as a freshman and made some big plays for them, and he just made one there.
Seems to me if the ball is thrown more to the inside of the field, could have gotten it over the head of 26 Quinn. He is the free safety. But I like the call, Keith. It was 4th and inches on the 37-yard line. If you don't make it, you come back and you go for it here.
Go to a 2-back set now. That's a tight end in as a blocking back. Justice Smith returns, and the handoff to Smith. And you get a penalty flag from the referee because that tight end was put into blocking back position, went too soon. And so BC will lose that play on illegal procedure.
Well, it was 4th down, and they only had inches to go. Hitting on 3rd down the previous play, 3rd and inches, threw the long ball, took a chance, had the man open if the ball would have thrown correctly.
5-yard penalty, 4th down.
It's definitely too far for his field goal kicker, Keith.
Michael Hemmert was the tight end who had moved into that blocking back position, and the man that took off a shade too soon.
Fullback just starts a tad soon, and that fullback is the tight end, Mike Hemmert.
So here's Jason Malecki in, number 43, to do the punting, a high school All-American out of West Springfield High School. He averaged better than 44 yards. Terry Glenn is waiting for Ohio State. There's no pressure on him, and the kick is away, so he passes his first test well, and angling for the corner, misses it by about 5 yards as the ball goes through the end zone and will come back to the 20. And so they can take a breath now. One of the freshman punters has passed the test. Buckeyes will get the ball in a moment. The Ohio State Buckeyes offense is led without question by number 14, Bobby Hoying. You can see that he's number 2 in Ohio State history in throwing the ball, and his 19 passes last year tied the Buckeye record. He is a good one. He's mobile, he's smart, and he's well seasoned. And behind him is a guy named Eddie George, who's quite a hammer too. So they go to a single back set, double wide, first down from the 20, and the offense moving now for Ohio State with George looking for a little daylight. Works his way up to the 25-yard line, and you've got a penalty flag in the Buckeye backfield. So we're going to see probably a lot of mistakes today. Either that or the officials are going to get tired of throwing the flag and let someone go. But it's all been the usual kind of stuff that you would expect early in the first game. Chile starting on up for Ohio State now. The backs and receivers. Eddie George, we were telling you about. He's 227 pounds, and he can carry it a lot of times in a ball game and a season for you, as you can see. Last year was 6th in Ohio State history. One of the big questions, Bob, about the Ohio State offense, of course, is who's going to take the place of Joey Galloway.
Well, they're very happy with this young man, Terry Glenn. He's a receiver that didn't play a lot last year, only caught 7 balls. But they have been very high on Glenn. The other receiver, Buster Tillman, caught 33. They feel like they lost 2 good receivers, but they feel like they've got 2 good ones back.
All right, make it first down and 20 now as the 10-yard penalty puts him back on the 10-yard line. And let's see about this. Now, the rule this year says the defender can't jump in there in that neutral zone and cause an offensive man to move. So you may see that rule applied right here.
Dead ball. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
So they march off 5 against Boston College. It used to be that defender could go in there and jump around all he wanted to as long as he got back and didn't make contact. But you can't do it anymore.
Well, if you jump in there and cause the offensive lineman to move and not touch anybody, that's a foul now on the defense.
Give it to George. And Eddie up to the 19-yard line. It was 1st and 15 on the snap, so they'll be looking second down at about 11. Orlando Pace. You could talk for several minutes about this big fellow. Don't be misled by the 330 pounds. He actually weighs 324. But all that aside, this is a very agile, good athlete.
Young man can run.
Pepe Pearson checks into the backfield now at tailback, a sophomore, 193-pounder from Euclid, Ohio. He's in for the Buckeyes, replacing Eddie George. Matt Calhoun is the fullback. Hoying gives it to the sophomore. Penalty flag is down. And Pearson did exactly what he was put into the ball game for. Pop a big play over the left side. But there's a penalty flag. Lay it on the ground back at the 17.
Offside. Defense.
So the defense was offsides. They'll turn it down and take the play. And here's the defensive alignment for Boston College. Stalin Colinet was the young man who broke his ankle in a game we did last year against Notre Dame. He's back healthy and ripping and snorting. But Tim Morabito is the leader of that bunch, and that is a good bunch. I mean, those guys get after you.
3 starters back from last year.
The middle 2 guys particularly outstanding. Defensive secondary showing there. And there's a little lack of experience back there. Here's Hoying's first pass of the ball game. Pass is good to Buster Tillman. And Buster's up across the 30 to the 36-yard line. So they'll be looking at second down at about 4.
John Cooper told me yesterday that the key to this game was blocking that defensive line. If we could keep him out, give some running room to Eddie George and give Bobby Hoying some time to throw, that was the key to this ball game. And the first pass for Hoying, he got outside the pocket.
You'll see Boston College quarterback Hartzell doing much the same thing, I'm sure, as the day wears on. They've got a double wide down at the bottom of your picture. Single back set, and Hoying goes back quickly, throws quickly, gets a pass away to number 80, Ricky Dudley. And Ricky Dudley, who's a big guy at 6'7", 240 out in Texas, former basketball player with good quickness, has a first down for the Buckeyes. Tonight on ABC, an hour of America's Funniest Home Videos, followed by Lois and Clark, and then on the Sunday night movie, Glenn Close and Christopher Walken, starring in Skylark. All tonight on ABC. So the Ohio State offense at one time was perched back on the 10-yard line, and now they've got a first down out on their own 48. No score.
Here they come.
BC tries for the blitz, and they get a piece of George at the line of scrimmage. He'll pick up 1 yard. You know, you get a piece of Eddie, you're not going to stop him. You got to get a lot of him because he is big and strong at 227 pounds.
He is, Keith. And as you mentioned, they moved from well inside their own 15-yard line, picked up a few first downs, got to midfield. The first thing that Boston College does defensively is blitz to try and stop the drive. Jack Stanton is the new defensive coordinator for the Eagles, and that was his idea. Come after him and stop the drive.
Second down and 9 with Pearson back in as George came out to change his shoe. Hoying's pass to the sideline, high but caught. Fine play by Terry Glenn, number 83, the junior from Columbus. And he is opening the season in Joey Galloway's spot.
And Ohio State is also throwing over there to their right side, which is being guarded by Billy Gustin. He is a redshirt freshman cornerback playing his first year. In fact, he's playing because of the Tony Ransom, who was normally would be starting over there, is ineligible to play this year because of grades. So a lot of passing to the right side.
First down at the 39 of Boston College. Hoying checked off at the line of scrimmage. Gives it to the up man, Matt Calhoun, the fullback. He rumbles to the 20. He's down to the 12-yard line. 237 pounds of trouble from Heath, Ohio.
So look at the offensive line and pace 75. He's going to go in and get a nice block on the inside linebacker that Stores. No chance for that linebacker. That's why the whole inside was sealed off. Nice play by Ohio State.
Didn't he get two guys?
Yeah, he got the other guy too. I mean, he was being blocked, but he sealed them all off.
That's like a gate. On first down, give it to George. He tied his shoe tight. Touchdown, Ohio State. Fronts onto the field. Junior from Logan, Ohio, for the extra point as Eddie George came off the field to get a shoelace, tied it tight, and went in and scored.
This is field level from behind the offense. Nice block by the fullback. Dudley does a nice job, and this is just tremendous desire. George wanting to get the touchdown.
Ryan Heinen holds. Dean Cruiser snaps it. Penalty flag is down. The kick is up and good, but hold on. We are working on a record number of flags in the first quarter of a Kickoff Classic. It's against Boston College. They don't take the point off the scoreboard. It'll stay up, and with 7 minutes and 34 seconds to go in the first quarter, it's Ohio State 7 and Boston College nothing. Buckeyes score on their first possession. The 13th Kickoff Classic on ABC Sports, brought to you by the all-new Chevy Blazer. Test drive it at your local Chevy dealer. Windows 95 from Microsoft. Where do you want to go today? State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And DuPont. Better things for better living. 7-0, the Buckeyes of Ohio State take it down the field. At one time, they were backed up because of penalties to their 10. But Eddie George cantered in from 12 yards, and the point was good.
He followed his big uglies in the offensive line, and they just dominated the defensive line for the Eagles. They mark one up for the offensive line for Ohio State.
My guys. Mike Malfett will kick it off. And waiting will be Kenyatta Watson and Mike Cloud. Well, let's see if Dan Henning and his folks decide to open things up a tad. This is a high kick, long kick, goal line. Cloud. No crack. 20-yard line. First down, Boston College. Here's Lynn Swan.
When you have a good running back that you can't stop by tackling, then you have to strip him. And I don't mean in the football. Take his shoes off. Eddie George lost his shoes twice on that drive, but the trainers got him on the sideline. They taped him up, and they do not want these shoes to come off again, Keith.
I don't blame him. Give him the ball and say sick him.
It was a nice job of running, but there was also a bunch of poor tackling by the part of the Eagles on defense.
Now let's see what we'll do with Mike Hartzell settling under quarterback and Justice Smith behind him. Smith gained a lot of yards, 35 the last time they had the ball, but no points. He's got it again and finds some daylight. Good for 5 yards up to the 25-yard line, maybe across it to the 26. We had 7 penalty flags thrown in the first 7 minutes of the first quarter. Now a total of 8. 5 of the penalties have been assessed. So the boys are a little jittery. The last 2 Kickoff Classics have been blowouts, with Florida State and Nebraska going on to win national championships respectively. But this one is a pretty good matchup. We think Hartzell has time. Passes away. Pass is completed to his tight end, Todd Pollock. And Pollock, the big sophomore out of Rye, New York, will be across the 30, and he will have a first down.
It's a nice pass and a nice catch by the young man Pollock. As you mentioned, Keith, he's replacing Mitchell, who was an All-American, and Mitchell had replaced another tight end here at Boston College, the name of Chirma. So Pollock playing in that position, if he's successful, Boston College tight ends have done very well in the past.
On first down from, call it the 31, that's Pollock in motion, and it's Smith with the ball, looking for some daylight, slips and slides and finds some. That's a good, tough, gutty run by Justice Smith. Well, he may be just a tad short of his first down, but I mean, that's a quality run.
If you're an offensive coordinator, you'll say it's a good, tough run. If you're a defensive coordinator, you're going to say he just poor tackling. You get one guy right there. He bounces off of another. Here comes Springs, number 24. He bounces off of him, and Springs finally brings him down. That's 8 carries for 50 yards for Smith.
Second down and a short yard for a first down. The ball is precisely on the 40. And instead of going for a big play, they give it to Smith, and he goes to the 45 and the first down.
Left of your screen, number 66 is Pete Kendall, one of the players we were going to key on today. He is an outstanding player, preseason All-American, and Boston College is going to run left a lot behind him, you can be assured.
First down from the 45. Smith. This time the Buckeyes pinch him a yard short of the line of scrimmage. At the conclusion of today's game, we will select a genuine Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the Game from each team. To date, Chevrolet has contributed almost $5.5 million to the scholarship funds of America's colleges and universities. Speaking of scholarships and funds, this game has produced over $5 million for the National Foundation's scholarships. The College Football Hall of Fame. Second down, 11. Hartzell with time swings it out to Smith, and Smith is taken down in an open field tackle by Sean Springs right at the 45-yard line. It'll be third down and 10. Sean Springs, a sophomore from Silver Spring, Maryland, was moved into that cornerback position a year ago when they realized they had to have some help at that position. And the freshman went over there and did the job. He shut out Mill Coleman in the second half, and that against Michigan State, and that was probably the turning point of his freshman year.
He usually works to the wide side of the field.
Hartzell's pass, man is there. Kenyatta Watson, and a first down for the Eagles at the Ohio State 43-yard line. So Hartzell is getting plenty of time, Bob.
Yes, he is. His offensive line doing a nice job. That time rolling outside. This time he's going to go to Watson, number 4. Kenyatta had that hamstring problem, just goes down, recognizes zone, sits down, comes back to the quarterback, and then just gets back. When he came back, he was actually short of the first down, so he turned around, went upfield, and picked up the first down.
One of the defensive stalwarts for the Buckeyes, Luke Fickle, has hobbled off the field. So they'll work on him for a minute, and Shane Clark replaces him, and here's the rollout pass to the sidelines, incomplete. Thrown wide of Steve Everson, the sophomore from Valdosta, Georgia.
That you hate to see. If your offensive guy, Everson was one-on-one out there with Springs. The quarterback had plenty of time, plenty of good vision, and they just didn't hit up with it. Matt Vrabel
He sort of changed the direction a little, didn't he?
I think he did.
Yeah. Mike Cloud is in the backfield now for Boston College on second down and 10. Hartzell rolls out again. He has very good protection. This time he throws. Good. Fine catch by Everson. The youngster is from Valdosta, Georgia. And he's got a first down inside the 26-yard line of Ohio State.
They came right back with a similar type of a pattern. Another out pattern. Vrabel's going to try and do the same thing.
Dismissed.
Just got over his hands. Everson was a quarterback in high school Only caught 4 balls last year, but getting an opportunity to do some good.
Justice Smith is back in the lineup now as the single back. Those 2 people back there behind the line of scrimmage with him are both tight ends. In what would amount to be a fullback position or a power I posture for the alignment. Justice Smith carrying the ball. Brought down by Anthony Gwynn, a 200-pound free safety out of Columbus for Ohio State.
Boston College continues to run inside, and when they want to throw, they're throwing outside on the corners.
Ohio State leading 7-0 with 2.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. They went 80 yards in 8 plays and scored. Now Boston College is trying to put something on the board. Hartzell, he has a man, goes underneath instead. He looked downfield, and Scott Dragos, number 83, was available to him. Instead, he dropped it off to Todd Pollock short. There's not much gain on the play.
This time 3 tight ends. 91 is Hemmert. Pollock is 89, and Dragos, the other one, 93. He looked to this side.
Well, that's a lot of traffic.
Well, there just wasn't any. He looked deep. You read downfield to short, and he was just an outlet receiver, and the linebackers were right there.
It is 3rd down. On 3rd and 4. Pressure coming, and they've got him. Making the play, number 94, Mike Vrabel. This time, the defensive end, instead of going straight in, looped and had the foot speed to get him.
Here's Vrabel right here. He's just going to get a little bit of a block and just come on around. Vrabel led the team in sacks last year with 12. Just doesn't give up. Coverage downfield allows him to get there.
Loss is back beyond the original snap for this possession. So it is 4th down 11. It'll be a 43-yard field goal try for Dan McGuire, a senior from Pennsauken, New Jersey. It's a low line drive that is not good. So McGuire stepping up to be the place kicker for Boston College, and he does not deliver on a 43-yard try, and it's still 7-0 Ohio State.
Good riddance preseason. Let's go.
Yep.
These games are going to start counting.
Drives you crazy, doesn't it? Ball is just outside the 26-yard line, where it is 1st down for Ohio State, leading 7-0. Give the ball to Eddie George. Lost his balance and fell down just short of the line of scrimmage. Boston College, as we come down to the end of the first quarter, had 7 plays and no points in their first possession. They just had their second possession. They had 13 plays and no points. So that's 20 plays and no points in the first quarter.
However, Henning's team does get a little bit of a momentum thing by keeping the ball a little bit. You keep it away from the other side. At least you feel good about making some first downs and some yardage.
2nd down 11 for the Buckeyes. This will be the last play of the first quarter unless there's a penalty. Here is Hoying putting it up for grabs. He's got a man on the sidelines. He's out of bounds. As he caught the ball, it is incomplete. Terry Glenn was free. He had outrun Darrell Porter. If the ball gets away a step sooner and is thrown at a flatter plane, it's a touchdown. And so we run out the first period of play, with Ohio State leading Boston College by a score of 7-0. After 1 quarter, it is 7-0. Ohio State out of the Big Ten, leading Boston College from the Big East. And they almost had another one on this play.
Keith, a blitz by the 2 inside linebackers. But look at the defensive ends. These 2 ends, Colin and O'Brien, are going to drop back in coverage. This is what they call a sugar blitz. You think it's a blitz, and the linebacker got in his face just a little bit, threw the ball, but sugar blitzes where linebackers are coming.
Blitzing again. This time they got their man. Nat Half led the surge and made the hit on quarterback Bobby Hoying, and it's a big loss. Ball comes from the 27 all the way back to the 16. And so that'll get the kicking team in the ball game, and here comes another one of those freshman punters. This is Brent Bartholomew, freshman for Ohio State out of Apopka, Florida, one of the top ones in the country. highly recruited. Now he's got a chance to prove himself. Almost shanked it, but he slaps it out of bounds up around the 48-yard line. So that thing almost slid off the side of his foot. It's only 32 yards, but it is out to the 48. Here are your first quarter numbers.
And by looking at these stats with Boston College on the right and the number of plays, 19 plays, and the bottom time of possession 10 minutes and 27 seconds, you would think that BC is leading, but they are not. They're down 7 points. They had the ball 2 possessions, and Ohio State only had it 1, but they scored with their only possession of the game.
Now here's Boston College with good field position. Let's see what they might be able to do with it. This is their 3rd possession of the ball game. Outside the middle again. Justice Smith finds room again. All the way down to the 40. He picked up 8 yards on the carry. That time the right side, O'Brien, Norrie, and Oriskovich gave him some room.
It's the best field position that the Eagles have had all day.
Starting a possession. Just getting underway in the 2nd quarter of play. 2nd and 2. Kenyatta Watson going down the middle. Got the ball. Tackled at the 13-yard line by Sean Springs. You could see it coming. Kenyatta Watson lined up on the bottom part of your picture. He went straight down, broke it right, and Hartzell put it on the numbers.
Hartzell with good protection. Watson just going to run a seam route. It's a zone coverage. He got in between the 2 deep defensive backs, and a nice throw by Hartzell. You can't make that throw unless you know what's going on and have a strong arm.
And it's first down Boston College at the Ohio State 13. Smith with the ball. This time he gets a lick from Rob Kelly, the strong safety. Hat on hat, and he picks up maybe 2, close to the 11. And it'll be 2nd down and 8. Now a couple of those tight ends, Dragos and Hemmert, leave the ball game for Boston College. And let's see what they've decided to do here. Watson will go wide right. You've got Everson, a wide receiver, going left. So we've got a double wide set now for BC.
It's a blitz.
A lot of time, and the pass in the end zone is incomplete. The pass was knocked away by Sean Springs. It was intended for Todd Pollock.
Nice defense by Ohio State that time. Bill Young, the defensive coordinator, had his linebackers up there thinking blitz, making Hartzell think, well, what am I going to do if they do blitz, and then dropping back into a zone. Nice defense.
Now Pollock leaves the game, and coming in, number 18 for BC, that'll be Dennis Harding. So now you're going to have 3 wide receivers in the ball game. First time we've had that.
Changing personnel, right? Yep. 3 wide, 1 back, 1 tight end.
3rd down. It's Watson coming underneath on a tight end screen, and oh, what a lick he took from number 13, Damon Moore. Woo!
Well, he didn't see him. He was looking at that lineman that was coming in. Here's the wide receiver. He's just going to come down. The offensive lineman can go downfield. The ball is thrown behind the line of scrimmage. In college ball, the lineman can go block. He looks at that defensive lineman that's coming back and doesn't see the defensive back, and Moore just knocked him out.
They're now counting his teeth. Oh, that was a lick. Dan McGuire, field goal tried, 24 yards, it is good. And this time the Eagles put some points on the scoreboard. 11:35 to go in the first half, and now it is Ohio State 7, Boston College 3. The Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes from Pompano Beach, Florida, floating around over Giant Stadium today. 70th year that Goodyear Blimps have covered the nation's top sporting events. At the controls of Stars and Stripes, Captain Richard Daniels. And the picture coming from the talented hands of cameraman Bob Rosedale. Overcast afternoon, and it's a blessing, really, because it would really be hot.
It was hot before the game when the sun was out, and yesterday. But you're right. This is a blessing.
I just hope some of those shields don't turn into rumble and roar. Dan McGuire kicks off. Sean Springs takes it. Got a hole.
Look out.
He's gone. See you later. Touchdown. No flag. Seven-yard touchdown run by Sean Springs. Hey, Pop, you like that?
I'm sure he does. Ohio State has had outstanding special teams. Last year in the Big Ten, they were second in kickoff returns. Kicking game keeps special teams so early in the year. When you lose a lot of seniors from the year before and your other players move up, then you got to find new players to put on these kicking teams.
Josh Jackson for the extra point. Out of Heinen's hold. Everything works. And it is a 14-3 ball game for the Buckeyes. 97-yard run by Sean Springs.
Let's take a look from behind. Springs takes it to the left. It's a right return. Look at all the red shirts to the right side. There's a crease there. He's got the speed enough to get through it. Springs is a defensive back now. Watch the block to the top left. He didn't see it coming. Great block. Springs, a defensive back. He's not a running back or anything. He's a defensive back with an impact on the offense. And that will pick up your team tremendously right there. Good blocking.
If I remember, his daddy wore 20, right? Ron Springs wore 20 when he played for the Buckeyes. Central McClellan owns that number, and he wasn't going to turn it loose for Sean.
Well, the young man may have wanted to go his own way, too, Keith.
May very well be. Mike Malfat will kick it off with Mike Cloud and Kenyatta Watson waiting for it inside the 10-yard line. And he gets across the 20, out close to the 30 before he is brought down by Central McClellan. That's the first kickoff return ever in a Kickoff Classic game for a touchdown. And we apparently have a flag across the way. Oh, it's way back up here inside the 40 on the Ohio State end of the field.
Looks like it's all offsides on the kicking team.
Pretty good return.
Encroachment, kicking team in the neutral zone prior to the kick. Penalty decline, first down.
They'll take the ball first down at the 29. Saturday on ABC Sports, PGA Tour rolls into Wisconsin. John Daly back from his tour of Europe and assorted places all the way up into Scandinavia. Back playing at home in the Greater Milwaukee Open presented by Light Beer. Light coverage begins at 1:30 Eastern, 10:30 Pacific time here on ABC Sports.
You always got to check and John see what kind of hairdo he's got for that day.
Hasn't got any. Hartzell again has time. Pass is thrown down the middle. A bullet to Brent Gibbons, a junior tight end out of Darien, Connecticut, and good for a first down to the 40-yard line. Here's Lynn Swan.
Keith, when Kenyatta Watson took that shot, he limped over to the sideline. I talked to the medical staff for Boston College. They said he hurt his left ankle just a little bit. He is also concerned about a hamstring problem that he's had during training camp, and occasionally you can watch him reach over and grab the back of his legs just to see if it feels okay. He is not running as hard as he should be. He is more striding than anything else, Keith.
Well, 29, a freshman, Brandon King, has come into the ball game now for Boston College. That pass is thrown low and picked up by Dennis Harding. The pass is completed for about 6 yards. In the game so far, Hartzell is 9 of 12 and for about 86, 87 yards, something like that. 86 yards. Bob Hoying, on the other hand, has only thrown it 3 times, and all 3 good for a total of 30 yards.
Keith, when you get a score on special teams from the kicking game, it gives a tremendous boost for one team, and it's a real downer for the other. Boston College now has got to get something going here offensively.
Well, there's another fine run by Justice Smith. Or again, as Bob said a while ago, it's either a tough run or bad tackling, depending on your perspective.
Yeah. Boston College continues to hit the Buckeye defensive line inside or throwing the football. First down.
First down from the 47 as Hartzell sets to throw it. Look left, throws right. Smith has it, hit, and stopped after a yard. So that was a tough yard for Justice Smith. Coverage the left side where the deep man was very good. There was nothing over there. Let's pause 5 seconds right here so our ABC stations can tell you who they are. We're in the second quarter of play. 9:17 to go in the first half. Ohio State leading Boston College by a score of 14-3. Justice Smith now on 14 carries for 74 yards in the game. Here's a little rollout, buying time by Hartzell. Pass to the sideline is too high. And over the head of Dennis Harding, the freshman out of Baltimore.
And it was good coverage, Keith, by Sean Springs, playing his defensive back, covering the wide receiver. Jammed him, didn't let him get off the line of scrimmage, and threw the ball away. He says, I'm a little tired. He says, that long run on the kickoff return. He says, I'm a little tired out here.
97 yards for the second Buckeye touchdown. That's the single big highlight. But in scrimmage yards, Boston College has almost 2-1. They ran 20 plays, though, gained a lot of yards early in the first quarter and didn't get any points out of it. Here's Hartzell again setting up, and again has time and has Kenyatta Watson over the middle. And Watson, who can do things with the football after he catches it, is down to the Ohio State 28 for a first down.
Well, what you're talking about, Keith, are big plays, and Ohio State has the speed, and Boston College is just trying to get it. Here you go right here. Kenyatta Watson just going to slide into the center of the field. Look downfield. He's just going to get in between the opening, stops there, and gets upfield.
Smith this time. They do trap. They're successful at the trap, but the hole closes at about the 25-yard line. The speed is the one element that you really have to go out sometimes afar and search for. And they went to Boca Raton, Florida, in order to get Watson to come north. Anthony DeCosmo, a freshman, however, who has great speed and a wide receiver for BC, came out of Fair Lawn, New Jersey. So they get a lot of people to come from this particular area up to Chestnut Hill. Dan Henning and, of course, Tom Coughlin. Preceding Henning was able to get a lot of people from this area, and Dan continues to work it. That's, again, a good offensive line surge by Boston College before Shane Clark can bring him down. Luke Fickle, who came out hobbling as if he might have sprained an ankle, has not been seen since, has he? Or has he went back?
Yeah. Okay. He's in.
Fickle is 99. Kind of hard to miss. 6'4", 260.
There he is. He does the dirty work. He's the nose tackle. He does the dirty work and let those other guys on the ends get all the plays.
Ball given to Smith. Gets out there, looks around, and then just plants and cuts and slams into Greg Belisari, another young man from Boca Raton, Florida, a junior and the middle linebacker. He plays, however, for Ohio State. Plays so far in the ball game. Boston College has had 35. And Ohio State has had 11. And, of course, the Buckeyes, based on that run by Sean Springs of 97 yards, have 14 points. They're going to measure for the first down. Short.
Well, I don't think there's a decision here. Your field goal kicker is questionable at best. I think you go for it, and I think that's the way Henning is thinking also. I was talking to him a couple of days ago, and he says with both our kickers graduated, he says we've kind of put the excitement back in the kicking game. I don't think he thought that the other team was going to return a kickoff against him. I think he was thinking about his punter and his field goal kicker. I said, what are you going to do when they go out on the field? He says, I'm going to turn my back.
Fourth, and you saw it, about a foot. The quarterback, if they give him the second effort, he may have it.
Well, it's the line judge from the top there who came in and had a mark with his foot. So it's wherever he thought his forward progress was.
Which foot did he use?
Well, he used the right one. Okay. I don't know if that's the correct one,
yes,
but he used the
that,
right one.
He used the foot that's the one that's in the direction you're going. So in that case, the right foot was the proper foot. It had to come off of his second effort because the first move didn't get it. We get a lot of pointing, but I don't see anybody in a striped shirt doing it. Hey, now he goes. He didn't get it. So did not give him all of that second effort, and they stop him at the top. Are you a quarterback? I don't think quarterbacks ought to try to go over the top. You're too big a target.
I don't agree with it either. I think you're better off just turning and hand it to a fullback who's got a running start and let him go fight the battle.
If they're going to stop you, at least put a knot on them.
It'd be a game for the big uglies, and here the red shirts, the defensive line, stops the first momentum, and he just didn't get it. That's Finkel and Vrabel and Bonhouse.
Story of the ball game is 7 plays by Boston College a punt, 13 plays a missed field goal, 6 plays a field goal, and 10 plays take over on down. So that's the story of the game. Eddie George, the single back for the Buckeyes now as they take over. First down at the 19. George in traffic to the 26. Ohio State's had only 12 offensive plays in the game, and those 12 offensive plays have been by 3 different receivers and 4 different rushers. So what little glory there has been spread around, except that DB took all the glory home with him on a 97-yard touchdown run, Sean Spring. Second down and 2. George again. Got away behind the line of scrimmage. Number 46 really had a good shot at him, Brian May, and George just stepped out of his grasp. The first man that had a shot at him and missed him was Matt Half. So 2 BC linebackers don't get George until he picks up a first down out at the 32-yard line.
Last year at this time, Keith, nobody knew a lot about Eddie George. He was not a starter in '93 and was just coming on. And last year just had an outstanding year. In fact, had 2 games of over 200 yards in each of those games. He really came on strong.
And he's one of those kind of running backs that gets better as the game goes on. A little short bullet drilled into the grasp of Buster Tillman. Big play to the 50. First down, Ohio State.
This is a part of the new passing game at Ohio State. The quick drop, the quick slant, 5 receivers out, opens up the linebackers. If the slants aren't there, you hit the guys that are going out on the angle routes to the sideline. But Little new passing scheme at Ohio State this year.
Because of Walt Harris, who's joined the staff as the quarterback coach.
Came over from the Jets.
First down at midfield. Little option action here as Hoying carries. He'll have a couple of yards, maybe the better part of 3. The first hit by Matt Half, Jr. out of Wexford, Pennsylvania. Joe Hollis remains the offensive coordinator, and they like what they've been able to see so far out of this kind of approach, because there's enough of a new wrinkle in it to cause some of the folks around the Big Ten to scratch their head
a bit.
Well,
they feel like they're going to be able to throw to their backs a little bit more too, Keith.
Get something after the catch.
Yeah, and if you want to move the football, you throw to your tight ends and your 2 backs. You're going to get some big plays occasionally outside of your wide receivers, but if you can throw to your 2 backs and tight end, you can move it.
Call it second down and 8. Put it on the 48 of Boston College, and Hoying going down the middle for the big guy. And Dudley can't come up with it. BC's got the ball as number 51 Eric Storrs returns it across midfield. So 51, right place, right time. Now the ricochet gets the interception.
Well, the tight end to the left side, that's Dudley, number 80, is going to release, go straight up the field, top of your screen. It's a nice throw, but it's a dangerous catch. A tough ball to catch. The safety sees it, comes right in. Did he have possession long enough?
I don't think he did he?
It's hard to tell from that shot.
I couldn't see. They were shielded away. I didn't see the ball bounce that much. I thought it was a ricochet, but clearly there it shows it bounced.
In the NFL, you have to have possession with both feet on the ground. That's not so in college. You just have to have possession of it.
Well, they call it possession. They call it interception. Boston College now attacking with Justice Smith carrying inside the 40 to the 39.
Let's go back and take a look at the catch, or lack of catch.
That's on his numbers there. I guess he's turning around. He must have it. I don't know if he does. I can't tell if he's got a grasp or not.
You can't call that one for sure.
No.
The officials were there and had a good look at it, so you got to go with them.
It's also going the other way.
Yep. That's right.
Second down and 2. This is Smith. This time the Buckeyes are having none of it. Number 43 was the first penetration. Ryan Miller, the junior out of Allen Park, Michigan. And it'll be no gain. Third down. They're 2 out of 7 on third down conversion so far. Third down and about 3. Underneath they play it to Everson, and Everson is whacked down sharply by Ty Howard. So Ty Howard makes a big defensive play for Ohio State, and it brings up 4th down. Coming up with a potential halftime report, we'll have a look at the end of that incredible ball game yesterday in Ann Arbor between Michigan and Virginia. And we'll show you the new National Football Foundation Hall of Fame in South Bend, Indiana. Sean Springs is the deep man. Jason Malecki is the punter. Last time Springs saw it, he went 97. He doesn't even go after this one. BC is going to try to knock it down short of the goal line, and they do. I mean, it's right on the chalk. It'll be about 2 or 3 inches from the goal line.
Nice play there, Darryl Porter. Nice play.
If George Welch could have had a play like that yesterday, it'd been a different ball game in Ann Arbor. That's what he was looking for, but the ball there took a high bounce and went over their head into the end zone. We've got a timeout. I hate to show this because everybody in Virginia just goes, oh, after yesterday.
Well, you know, too, Keith, I mean, the guy for Virginia made a nice play in getting down there. The ball just bounced over.
Yeah, just bounced over.
Should have caught it, but still, the ball was out to the 20, and Michigan did go 80 yards. So
that's right.
Virginia defensively had plenty of chances to stop them.
Both teams with 3 timeouts. The ball right on the goal line, and the referee throws that piece of laundry down.
dead ball, false start, offense, repeat first down.
So one of the linemen wiggled.
That doesn't hurt him. You can wiggle all you want because it's half the distance to the goal line.
Going to move it an inch.
You know, the good thing here is for Hoying to try and pull him off with his cadence, or one of the offensive linemen to kind of jerk his hand, you know, just try to get some free yardage. Just go straight ahead here. Don't get fancy.
How about
or throw it deep.
Throw it deep.
Defense looking, see, long count.
Whoa.
He had long cadence, tried to pull him off.
He just barely got out of there. He just hooked right onto the belt.
And defensively,
Juan Porter.
Keith, here, defensively, you should be thinking, all right, safety or call timeout. That's what Henning's doing. You got him backed up. Keep him down here.
So Boston College spends the timeout. Ohio State owns the football at their own 1. 2 minutes and 2 seconds to go in the first half. Second down and, you know, call it 9 yards, really. Ball is at the 1 because the ball was almost touching the goal line on the snap. And Boston College kind of trying very hard to keep Ohio State backed up, and Bob Hoying's pass is into the sidelines incomplete, mainly because he bumped into Eddie George in the end zone.
Yeah.
And it got a gasp from the crowd.
And by throwing the ball and throwing it incomplete, that stops the clock and allows Boston College to use their timeouts to stop it this time. That was almost disastrous. If he would have fallen down, it would have been a safety. But it does stop the clock. Boston College has 2 timeouts remaining, so it looks as though if Ohio State is going to have to punt from deep in their own end zone.
This is only the second time here in the first half that Ohio State has had a third down play. 3rd and 9. Tillman just checked in. Here, the pressure coming. The pass is away, however. And Eddie George runs for a first down out to the 15, and Bob Hoying was just clobbered. I mean, he was leveled.
Well, that was part of the new offense, the new passing offense. Swing it to your back. Get the ball to George a little bit. Let him run. Here you go right here. The outside linebacker's just going to come around the outside. Hoying never sees him.
Matt Half. Half just laid him out. But Bob's a big old tough guy, 6'4", 223 pounds, and he's upright.
You don't want to get caught back here. Be sure of the throw, which he did. Took a lick, but first down, big play for Ohio State.
And the important thing is he took that snap, hands it off to Eddie George, and George breaks a big play all the way to the 34-yard line. Now it would appear that Ohio State will move it on down the field and close out the time in the first half with an opportunity to score.
I like this kid, Eddie George. He's not flashy. He's not a speed burner. He's got 47 yards on 7 carries, averaging nearly 7 yards per carry. Last year he gained over 1,400 yards.
He does that again this year. There's going to be a lot of Sunday folks ringing his telephone number. Hoying's pass deep. It's completed at the 20-yard line to Terry Glynn. He got away from Billy Guston, a redshirt freshman from Fort Lauderdale.
Well, here you go, a nice ISO. Glenn, their best speed guy, against Guston, who is starting his first game for the Eagles. He really had to wait for the ball. The ball could have been thrown further, and he would have had a no-brainer for a touchdown. Hoying steps up. Paid the price, but he had a big completion.
First down, Ohio State at the Boston College 20. 55 seconds to go in the first half. 14-3, Ohio State leads. Now with an opportunity for more. George to the 16. If they score a touchdown here, it'll be the longest drive in this game's history. I don't know about forever in a day, but it's got to be 99 yards and 35 inches.
Kept going further than that. Here's a look at some of the new major rule changes this year. Not a lot. Players commit unsportsmanlike conduct if they remove their helmets before reaching the bench area. Defensive players penalized 5 yards for entering the neutral zone and causing the offensive lineman to move immediately if you don't touch them. And then the tiebreaker will be used in postseason games this year. Nothing major except for the unsportsmanlike conduct, and I think that is, I think that was sorely needed, Keith.
Me too. Glenn now has caught his breath on the sidelines and come back into the ball game. And when time resumes, play resumes, it'll be 49 seconds to go in the first half of the ball game. The ball is resting near the 16 of Boston College. It's square in the middle of the field. Ohio State now will have 2 timeouts remaining. They just spent their first one. And now here comes some new people. Number 29, Pearson, steps into the backfield, and Eddie George comes out. That's a change. Number 3, Demetrius Stanley, junior out of Worthington, Ohio. He's in, along with Alonzo Shavers. He's out now, and Buster Tillman is back in the lineup. And so they've got some speed people, 3 of them on the field. And Hoying looking for one of them, gives instead to Pearson. Pearson is in a one-on-one out there and gets away and gets out of bounds down at the 11-yard line. My goodness, he just flat got away from number 44, Darrell Porter.
Poor tackling, Keith. You got to bring him down.
Put the ball just inside the 12, and this is where the drive, this possession started there. That's why I said it's 99 yards and 35 inches.
Yeah, and there's where they've gone. Boston College was calling timeout down at the left side of your screen, so they hoped they might get the ball back and force Ohio State to punt. Now it's the other way around.
Of course, with the ball carrier getting out of bounds, stopping the clock, 42 seconds to go in the first half. George is back in the backfield. Here's the pass thrown to the big guy. Touchdown! Ricky Dudley, the tight end. So that big catch by Terry Glenn sets up an 8-play, 99-plus yard drive, and Dudley makes the catch and gallops into the end zone. And Ohio State's Josh Jackson now trying to make it an 18-point lead. (21-3).
You see your wide receiver's going to break. Dudley is here. He's just going to run an angle to the outside. Watch the defensive back come too far to the inside, and the ball will be thrown outside. He looks inside. The slant is covered. Comes back out to Dudley. The defensive back is too far inside, and he makes it into the end zone.
Boy, he is a big target, isn't he?
Oh, he is a huge target. Mentioned he's a basketball player. Nice job of Hoying to getting the ball quickly before he got near the sideline so he could catch it and get turned up.
Ricky, 2 hands, lad, 2 hands. You're trotting around in traffic holding that ball in 1 hand.
You talk about a big drive, Keith. That one right there, where all Ohio State was trying to do initially was make a first down or run out the clock. Yeah. They take it the whole length of the field and get 7 points.
Enormous impact on the game. 20.
Hey, Keith.
Yep.
Lynn Swan down here on the sideline. Just wanted to tell you about Dudley. He's a basketball player. He takes it with 1 hand. He's looking to slam dunk it in the end zone.
There'll be a tight end coach slam dunking him. How many times did you run around with it in 1 hand?
I was too small. Couldn't take the chance.
But boy, I tell you what, the potential there is just enormous. And finally, it is picked up by Mike Cloud, running back for the Eagles. And Mike comes across the 20 out to the 23-yard line. So Boston College has got to find something to regenerate them here, as they've just simply not been able to get any points. They've had a lot of plays and gained a lot of yards.
Yes, exactly.
But they haven't had the big play.
Yep. And they've given up a few big plays defensively.
Yep. 31 seconds remaining. That's kind of like hitting the ball 6 feet from the pole. But Hoying calls a timeout, stopping the clock at 13:48 in the third quarter. 21-3. The Ohio State Buckeyes have the lead. Here's a sample of the running of Eddie George to give you an idea of why he is so tough and why he gains so many yards. Even with a mistake, he turns it into a big play.
He's just a patient runner, and he has good vision. That play was supposed to go left. The fullback went left. He was supposed to follow the fullback.
Made something out of nothing. On first down now after the timeout, Hoying keeps it. Better get rid of it. There's big people coming. The ball is thrown underneath the intended receiver. He had his man Tillman, and he just simply couldn't get the ball to him, because all of a sudden staring at him was big old Tim Morabito, 6'3", 263. And there are 2 or 3 things you want to do when Morabito has you in his sights. One is, if you're a quarterback, you make sure you get rid of the ball, and 2, you look for a door to hide behind.
Yes, just throw it quick. There's Bobby Hoying's brother, Tommy. He's a quarterback, the backup quarterback.
He's still fighting with Jackson for that job, I think.
Number 2 or number 3.
Here's Hoying swinging the ball out to George. George is past the marker for a first down and gets out of bounds right about midfield. And the Buckeyes will move the chains one more time. Pat Pincus is the roommate for the Hoying brothers, so he controls that sibling rivalry. Put it right on midfield and a first down as we pause 5 seconds so our ABC stations can identify themselves. Buckeyes leading 21-3. Bob Hoying's got them moving again. Wants to go big, going for Glenn. Incomplete and almost intercepted, and that time Billy Guston made a good play.
Guston is a redshirt freshman who has been beaten a couple of times today. He's playing because of the suspension of Tony Ransom, the cornerback from last year. He makes a nice play this time. Told us before the ball game that there was one area in the secondary that Ohio State was going to be attacking, and it's been Billy Guston.
Second down and 10. Other way for Dudley, and he was running. Well, the ball, it was not a well thrown ball. It was not put in his hands by Bob Hoying.
That's very true, Keith. He threw it behind him, and when you're 6'7", it's kind of tough to turn that torso around for a bad catch.
Billy Guston, incidentally, is one of 3 Eagles from St. Thomas Aquinas High School down in Fort Lauderdale, the others being Darrell Porter and Willie Wright. Tom Coughlin was down there with the Eagles going to the CarQuest Bowl a couple of years ago, and they practiced over at St. Thomas Aquinas. And lo and behold, 3 of the youngsters wound up on the campus of Boston
Porter
College.
and Willie Wright.
Yep. Yeah. Third down and 10. Pressure. The pass is away. Hoying took a brutal hit. And this is Eddie George with another big play. Another first down when it didn't look like there was a chance to get it. Matt Half belted Bob Hoying. But Hoying's up walking around.
Well, Hoying took a lick, but top of your screen, the linebacker is that Half going to hit him from the blind side. Nobody was on him. But 5-step drop, quicker passing. Look at the play of Eddie George. 2 missed tackles right there.
Yeah, but he's doing funny things with his feet.
Oh, he's making a miss. There's no doubt about that.
Pepe Pearson is the tailback right now. As Eddie gets a rest, they give it away to the fullback. And Nicky Sualua will pick up a couple of yards. Ball is on the BC side of the field at the 33-yard line. Boston College needing a big play of any kind right about here. They're trailing 21-3, and Ohio State is nibbling away again. Tillman and Glenn, your wideouts. Calhoun back at fullback, 2nd down and 8. Hoying getting pressure, and he's sacked back at the 41-yard line by number 92, Nick Giannakakis. And here's 20.
Bobby Hoying has made tremendous progress as a quarterback at Ohio State from his 1993 through 1994. But one of the areas he's got to improve in is percentage completion. If this system that Walt Harris is going to work, he has to be at least a mid-60% completion rate success for this team to run successfully and run smoothly offensively. Keith?
Well, I think his opportunities are going to be greater out of this kind of a system, though. I mean, it's...
Yeah, you're right. In the first half, he was 81, almost 82%.
Yep.
And if you're a quarterback, you got to like this system. With more guys out, you're going to throw the ball quicker. Look out.
Pressure coming again. Down he goes. Pass completed. Demetrius Stanley. Hoying is slow to get up this time as Darrell Porter on a corner blitz really hit him right in between the numbers, and he was late getting up, but he is up, and he did complete the pass, and he's got another first down.
I watch Hoying here as he's looking at this linebacker. When that linebacker blitzes, he's going to dump the ball to the wide receiver. It's a key blitz, a side blitz right now. Dump it. He took the linebacker is the responsibility of the quarterback, and there's nobody picking him up.
They're a little bit short of the first down. That's a corner. That's Porter.
Yeah, it was a nickel. He's a nickel back in that alignment.
Yeah. So they're just inches short of the first down. It'll be 4th and inches to go. This is the 12th play of this drive, and it is by 4 plays the longest possession Ohio State has had so far today.
John Cooper was telling us that he felt like this is his best staff that he's ever had. He's added 4 new coaches in the offseason.
Long count. Hoying keeps. Surge behind the offensive line. Good for the first down. He went right in behind Juan Porter, Jamie Sumner, and he got the first down. Tomorrow night on ABC, Jeff Fahey back as the marshal. Then Bob Urich, coaches Shelley Fabre and Matthew Perry from Friends star in a mystery thriller on the Monday night movie Deadly Relations. That's tomorrow night after the marshal here on ABC. Well, they're bringing the chain out. I thought he had it easy, but let's see. Well, he does. Linked with the football. So put it at the 24-yard line of Boston College now. First down for Ohio State. This game has not had the kind of fireworks I thought it was going to have, frankly. We've had that one huge play by Sean Springs, but otherwise it's just been good, solid play by Ohio State, really, with able to turn away the Boston College threats. On first down, Hoying almost dropped that ball. Gets it away, however, to Eddie George, and George is shaking people and picks up 2 yards.
The line judge
almost got him.
The official kind of did a forearm shiver to that Eagle defensive back. We talked about the defensive line for the Eagles. Tim Morabito, number 58, to the right side of your screen, right over Porter, the center. Does a nice job, just blows him back and takes a swipe at George, but George doesn't go down very easily. It's a good battle in there in the nose.
Second down and 9. Hoying throws to George. He's got a lot of green in front of him. I'll tell you what, it must be a terrifying experience to be a corner out there and be looking at Eddie George one-on-one.
George caught 16 passes last year in addition to gaining over 1,400 yards rushing. But he's got soft hands. Hoying does a nice job of just laying it up, paying the price. Now watch George. He's 6'3" and 230 pounds. He's got the shiftiness to run around the cornerback and the power to run over you.
Here's Pearson on 1st and goal from the 9, and he cuts his way down to about the 3-yard line.
Now, Pearson is a little different. Pearson has got the speed and is quick and has got the scat speed. But George is the bigger back that'll make you miss.
Eddie is what old Coach Jake meant when he said mobile.
Mobile, yeah. Here's what he's done. He's gained 77 yards on the ground and 58 on 4 receptions, 1 touchdown.
But at the same time, Justice Smith ran for 110 yards in the first half himself. His team has got a problem on the scoreboard. Here's George hit behind the line of scrimmage, and that was an all-out gut-leveling play by Darrell Porter to take him down.
It's a nice play by Porter. He was 3rd on the team last year in tackles. He's a cornerback, and they usually throw away from Porter coming from the left side of your screen. He just runs through the fullback, and George doesn't expect him to be there and can't get out of the way.
This is the 17th play of this possession.
It's been a great drive coming out. If nothing else, you've taken 8 minutes off the clock.
That's right, just killing the quarter, eating the clock completely. To the corner for Glenn. Too far. He put too much air under it.
Had him wide open.
And he had him. He was just absolutely wide open.
And he knows it.
Laying down over there, but I think out of frustration more than anything else, I hope. Trainers go down to him. No, he's still down.
Just a quick throw. It's a fade route. He has a beat. He's wide open. I don't know if he just maybe hit his head on the turf.
They go for 3 on a 23-yard field goal try by Josh Jackson. It is good. And the score goes to 24-3, and Glenn's up walking around. The Kickoff Classic on ABC Sports, brought to you by Chevrolet. The cars and trucks 36 million people depend on every day. Genuine Chevrolet. And Windows 95 from Microsoft. Where do you want to go today? A look down from the Stars and Stripes. The Goodyear blimp out of Pompano Beach, Florida. At the controls, Captain Richard Daniels and cameraman Bob Rosedale. Floating around up in the sky over East Rutherford, New Jersey. Ohio State's average starting point has been on their 16-yard line, but those long drives have produced touchdown, punt, fumble, touchdown, and field goal, and they lead by a score of 24-3 with Mike Malfett now ready to kick off.
That gets back, Keith. Excuse me, go ahead.
And Brandon King joins the would-be returners here. Brandon King is 29 and Mike Cloud is 21. And it's Cloud at the 11. And to the 27. And here's Swanee.
Terry Glenn, Keith, just cramped up a little bit when he laid out for that pass, and on the sideline, Bob Hoying is talking to the coaches upstairs, and the trainer's been working on his chin. He's taken a couple of shots, and he cut his chin underneath. It's nothing serious, but just a sign of the kind of contact he is sustaining in that backfield. Keith?
Every quarterback has scars on their chin except Bob Greasy.
Hey, I used to have those. He's been blocking those linebackers as he gets the balls off.
That's right.
But he's been completing them.
Hartzell's pass is good. Caught by Steve Everson. He's a burner. And finally taken down by Ty Howard. Big play, Boston College.
Well, this is some of the speed that Dan Henning wanted to get into his offense. Emerson didn't play last year, only caught 4 balls in spot duty. Just going to run a little stop pattern, go down in front of Springs, run a little curl to the inside. Springs misses a tackle, but Howard from the other side, all the way from the other side of the field, catches him.
Howard can run. First down, Boston College. Fumble. Hartzell dives. He keeps it.
Hartzell's looking into a defensive lineman's face right there. Now, who is that, Fickle?
No,
That's
it's
a
an
nose.
8.
Yeah, it's Fickle.
Is it 8? 99?
99, yeah.
Yeah, they were very
Here's what Boston College did.
socially acquainted there, weren't they?
6 possessions. That interception at the end was just a Hail Mary, so it really didn't matter. But they had the ball for a lot of plays, just didn't do anything with it. A missed field goal. You got to convert when you get down there. It's a big drive for them.
Second down and 10. Justice Smith. And he went left. If he'd gone right, he might have had a little more room. It's Luke Fickle again on the play for Ohio State.
Here's the leaders for Boston College. Hartzell in the first half was 13 of 21 with 158 and 1 interception. Smith is the only running back they used, so he carried it for 21 times for 110 yards, and Kenyatta Watson on the outside.
They're in a throw position here now on 3rd down and 7. Penalty flag. Catch is made by Brett Gibbons, well short of a first down, but there is a flag. Sean Springs on the tackle on Gibbons. Holding. Whoa, no, it's Boston College. He pointed the other way, and I thought for a second it was a defensive hold, but not. So BC shoots themselves in the foot right here.
That was it's going to be 4th down if they decline the penalty.
Yeah, it'll be 4th down, and the ball will be at the 14-yard line.
And add 17 to that if you want to try a field goal. But I would take the call here. Yeah,
it's a 16-yard penalty.
If you don't take it, if Cooper didn't take it, they may have go for it on 4th down and pick it up.
Yep. See, this is a big penalty at 16 yards.
10-yard penalty, by the foul, repeat 3rd down.
Yeah, this not only takes him out of field goal range, but this is going to make it tough to convert 1st down.
So your holding now is a spot of the foul call. So the holding occurred 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Add 10 onto it, it becomes a 16-yard penalty. So that'll make it 3rd down and 26. 23, I guess, yeah. Hartzell's got a man down the middle. Kenyatta Watson, and he can't reel it in. He got his own hands, but he couldn't make the catch. The ball sailed a little bit on him, and he threw it hard because Matt Finkus was pounding on him.
Well, he knew he was going to get hit, Kenyatta Watson, so he made an effort to catch it and then hold it in.
Well, he's sore, too. He's playing with a very sore ankle and a very sore hamstring.
Well, he's been knocked around pretty good today. Watch him. He's open for a second, but he knows those 2 safeties back there. Look at him.
Oh, yeah.
He knows those 2 safeties are coming at him when the ball's coming.
That's called a short arm. This is a man-sized field goal try here. This is 50 yards for Dan McGuire.
Never kicked in a game before today.
Look at this. Right down the highway.
All right.
A 50-yard field goal for Dan McGuire from Pennsauken, New Jersey. And it's 24-6. Score now. You ever play golf in Wisconsin in the summertime, Bob?
No, I don't think I have.
The grass is juicy. You get in the rough, and it's hard.
I'll bet.
Ooh. High hanging kickoff at the 11-yard line. It's Terry Glenn. Penalty flag as Glenn gets out to about the 25. A 24-6 ball game. Ohio State. As Dan McGuire gets his second field goal, but a big one of 50 yards. It's illegal use of hands against the Buckeyes. So we've had a couple of games that have been a little bit surprising in the way they have gone on. Yesterday, Virginia out to the big lead. Winds up losing improbably by 1 point on the last play of the game. Today we thought the ball might go up and down the field a little more than it has. And we thought it might be a closer game than it is. But it's been big plays by Ohio State and the failure of Boston College to convert when they had to.
And it's been a strange game, Keith, because Ohio State has started way back, as you mentioned, their average starting position.
16 yards.
They have not had good field position to start their drive all day.
This is on the 13-yard line now, first down after that penalty. And it's Eddie George who gets around the corner and will come up with about 2-3 yards on that carry. Rob Clifford shoved him out of bounds. Rob is from Hanson, Massachusetts, and we've got another flag on the field. Or do we? Yep, we do. Face mask against Boston College. So let's see how big it is.
Keith, you know, we got to mention Boston College. They won the award again this year. In fact, for the second time in 4 years, they tied for first place for the College Football Association's Academic Achievement Award. That was given yearly to the school with the highest graduation rate among their football players, and 94% graduation rate for Boston College.
So that spot of the foul penalty makes it a first down and 3 for Ohio State. And they'll run it up the middle and get the first down as Eddie George just kind of moves along like he's skating on a little ice and nobody else can get a grip. Or as the guy said, Eddie ain't got no handles.
Hey, I'd take this young man right here. He's not excited. He doesn't run up the backs. He doesn't if the hole is not where it's supposed to be, he'll slide one way or the other. He's got good hands, he catches the ball, and he's got good vision.
First down, the ball at the 27 for the Buckeyes. There he goes again. Darrell Porter wrestles him down at the 35-yard line with 4 minutes remaining to play in the third quarter, and Ohio State leading 24-6.
To blocking up front, Juan Porter is the center. Going to create a nice little hole here to the left side. Number 65 blocking on Morbido, who is an outstanding player. Sumner does a nice job, number 72, blocking on the inside linebacker. These big offensive linemen, Sumner weighs 290 pounds, blocking on these linebackers, which he outweighs by about 50 pounds.
I'll bet you that Sumner is going to have the highest grade, one of the highest grades in the coach's study. This is a bomb for Glenn. He got it! Oh, what a catch! And a penalty flag. And another one. Somebody said something.
No, it's the celebration rule.
Celebration rule.
Holding his hands up.
He split Clifford and Toll-Free and made a great catch.
That's sportsmanlike conduct. That's the new rule.
Let's see the celebration.
That's Toll-Free now. He came in to play that corner over there. He's just going to go up inside of him. He's going to split Toll-Free in the free safety. This is a nice throw. Now watch the celebration afterwards. Keep it going. That's drawing attention to yourself. Individual. There's a tape that was sent around to all of the schools saying these things. They're trying to put more sportsmanship and class back into the game and eliminate some of the hot dogging and showboating that has been going on.
Jermon Jackson is the single back now. It's still a first down, and Hoying calls a timeout. The ball is at the 33-yard line of Boston College. But I wonder, Bob, if you can legislate sportsmanship any more than you can legislate morality.
Well, I think you can eliminate some of the hot dogging that goes on, some of the dancing,
I agree with you totally.
the high stepping, the strutting, the saluting, the
Pulling
imitation
off the helmet,
7 guns, the verbal taunting, and you know, it's not the summit, the sportsmanship summit wanted it to be a team game. Get back to team values. Not individuals, not self things, but look for your teammates and celebrate with your team. And they will not call that as long as it's not excessive.
Well, Bob, this is Lynn. You know, I agree with you, but I think that new rule has to have some judgment in place by the officials. Certainly, if you face the opponent and you're taunting him or you're drawing attention to yourself because of a great play and you're doing it in the face of your opponent, I think that should be called. But if you just stand up and lift your hands because you're excited about that catch, I don't think that should be called. You can't expect these young kids to be unemotional about making a great play.
I thought that one was marginal.
Let's take a look.
But they're going to call it early. You know they're going to call it because the rule's in place, and they're going to put up with anything. And so you just got to be careful.
Keep it running here. Keep it running. Let's just see how long it's prolonged. That's what. And he's looking away from the team. That's why they called it.
Yep. He looked toward the stadium.
Looked away from the team.
Toward the sidelines.
Individual.
Did it. Hoying's got heat, and he is shoved out of bounds. Finally, pursued by Eric Storrs, a sophomore linebacker from Rockaway, New Jersey. He was looking deep, and he couldn't find anybody, so he took it out of bounds.
Bobby Hoying is a good player, Keith. He's a fifth-year senior, and he has the knowledge and the ability to adapt to this new passing scheme that Ohio State is implementing. Quicker passing, throw a lot more to your backs, and we're at a first or second-year player. I don't think he would have been able to adjust to it.
It'll be second down and about 15 yards to go for Ohio State. Putting back on the 38-yard line of Boston College. BC defense coming after him again. Oh, boy. There, Jermon Jackson, a sophomore from Ironton, Ohio, got a greeting from Terrence Wiggins, number 49 of Boston College.
It's a great hit by Wiggins. Jackson, the back, is going to say, hey, how come when you throw this to Eddie George, this doesn't happen to him? you throw that pass to Eddie about 5 times. He caught it and ran up the field. He'll back out of the backfield. Hoying swings it out.
Yeah, that's because the BC defense probably adjusting a little bit as the game goes along.
We caught on to that play.
Yeah. In this quarter, Ohio State's had 25 plays, Boston College 5. 3rd and 15. That pass is batted up in the air and incomplete. And again, it is Terrence Wiggins, the strong safety, making the play for the Eagles. Pass intended for Terry Glenn.
Wiggins, an outstanding player, had 5 interceptions last year to lead the Eagles.
So that gets a hand from the Boston College faithful as the defense pushes them back, and it'll force the punt. And Brent Bartholomew is in for only his 2nd punt of the day. His first one was 32 yards. He's a freshman from Apopka, Florida. Daryl Porter standing back around the 10-yard line. So if it's over his head at the 5, he probably has been told let it go. If it's over his head at the 10. High in the air, spinning, tail dragger, goes sideways. They got a chance, and they kill it down around the 3-4 yard line. So Bartholomew does a fine job, and it's first down, Boston College at their own 3.
Well, we thought we'd show you some of the major, or the key coaching changes. This is not all of them, but Rick Neuheisel is in at Colorado. Take a look down the list. Butch Davis is at Miami. There's Lloyd Carr winning that big game yesterday at Michigan. Nick Saban at Michigan State. Howard Schnellenberger. He's got a lot of players coming back at Oklahoma.
Simmons going over to Oklahoma State.
Simmons at Oklahoma State.
Adding to the black coaches now in Division 1A. He's a good coach, good man. First down, call it the 4-yard line, and here comes the Eagles with Buster Smith fumbling the football. Ohio State's going to come up with it. The Buckeyes went after that thing like bees after honey, and we did a little scuffling around, but I didn't see a single white shirt in the neighborhood. Matt Bonhouse, number 70, I think is the man. Todd Barry says he thinks he's the man that came up with it. But Luke Fickell and Bonhouse have been hammering on Tim O'Brien, the Boston College center, like a drum all day. Right there, somebody trailing the play knocked it loose.
Couldn't tell who knocked it loose, but about 16 guys had a shot at it.
Looked like a linebacker looping around. 91, well, that's Jeff Wilson, defensive end, who came around and got a piece of it. And so here's Ohio State now, knocking on the door again at the Boston College 9-yard line as a result of the fumble. And here goes Eddie George. Touchdown. Thank you. My gosh, he makes it look easy.
See, this is an example of what the new rule wants you to do. Turn and celebrate with your teammates and not individually looking away from it. One of the new rules this year. A nice long strider, Eddie Wilson. I mean, Eddie Wilson. I knew it. I knew it in Eddie Wilson one time. He played quarterback.
Of course he did.
Eddie George, making it look easy.
Josh Jackson. Whoa, kind of knuckled it up, but it worked. So Eddie George now has 17 carries for 99 yards. He scored 2 touchdowns. And he's been fun to watch.
Take a look from the line of scrimmage. We said that early on that this game was going to be won or lost in the trenches. Is it just a sprint to the outside, stretch him, and then cut up inside? Yeah, he's been impressive. He and Sean Springs, the defensive back who ran the kickoff back for a touchdown. And Bobby Hoying has had a nice game, Keith.
Yeah. 31-6 ball game. He's happy. Don't blame him. Well, they impressive outing, I think, for Ohio State.
They have they have been very impressive, but they have a tough schedule.
Malfat will kick it off now. Brandon King. You know who his uncle is? Big Don. And Mike Cloud waiting back there. And he sort of scooped it. It's going to be short. Cloud overran it. Now he's going to forfeit the opportunity to return it by having taken his eyes off of it and overrunning it.
So look at the Ohio State schedule. They'll have a couple of weeks off. September 16th, they go against Washington at home. They're at Pittsburgh. They have Notre Dame, Penn State, Wisconsin.
At Penn State. See,
Twice.
Penn State
last year. They were last year and this year.
Ohio State, Michigan, and Wisconsin all at State College, and they don't play Illinois. That's
right.
one of the reasons so many people think they're going to win it again. The other is they're a pretty good team. First down from the 14-yard line as Hartzell throws incomplete. And he had Everson going down the middle. But that ball, I don't really know who it was intended.
It was an option route, and Everson ran it to the inside, and Hartzell threw it to the outside.
That stops your clock at 2:05 to go in the third quarter.
Hoying talking to Walt Harris or Joe Hollis, the offensive coordinator upstairs, talking about some of the things they were doing. So nice job, young man.
Watson in motion. Back goes Hartzell. Gets his pass away. The pass is intended for Kenyatta Watson, and it's incomplete. And so it'll be 3rd down and 10. In the lopsided third quarter, totally favoring Ohio State. It was 21-3 at halftime. It is now 31-6. Exactly 2 minutes to go in the third period, but there's something to build on. This is the team will have something to say about what happens in the Big East. This is not something they want Hartzell doing a lot of. First place, he's too big a target at 6'5" and 222. In second place, linebackers' eyes get as big as a plate when they see a quarterback prancing around.
And standing straight up.
Yeah, standing straight up. Ball is on the 20 for the snap and the punt to Jason Malecki, freshman out of Springfield, Virginia. Terry Glenn is waiting for it just inside the Ohio State 40. Malecki, a National Honor Society student. Oh, some pressure on him. He does a feint, but it doesn't get any sympathy from the official, and he hooks the ball out of bounds. Here's Swanee now after a 29-yard punt.
Keith, I'm with Darrell Jones, a tight end who would love to be out here playing, but he had open heart surgery this last June. The pericardium was removed. Now, that was due to a hardening of it. How did you acquire this disease?
They're not really sure exactly how I attracted the fungus, but what they do know is that they think that it attacked the pericardium and hardened the sac around the heart and restricted the blood flow through the heart, so they had to go in and have it removed.
Now, you're not going to play this year, but you're going to come back. I wonder how you're able to come back after open heart surgery.
It's going to be a long, tough road this year. I just thank the Lord that the surgery went all right and I have my health back, and I look forward to getting back on the field. It's just going to be a long year of getting myself mentally and physically ready to play next year.
But you can come back not because the pericardium is missing. That doesn't affect the operation of your heart, correct?
Correct. Yeah, it's basically I just have to sit the year out and let the sternum heal. The sac, the doctors really aren't sure why the sac's there, what purpose it serves around the heart. But many people have had the surgery and have lived healthy, normal lives, and it's just the sternum needs to heal completely to be able to play again.
All right, Darrell, I know you want to be out there. Hopefully you'll be out there next year contributing to the Buckeye team.
Thank you.
Thank you. Keith?
DJ.
You know, it's unusual. You talk about players being out because of a shoulder separation or a knee or an ankle. You don't hear being out because open heart surgery very often.
Not at that.
Nice young man.
Pass down the middle. Pass is completed to Demetrius Stanley. And the gain is relatively short. 31-6. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not John Cooper is going to go down the list now and put some more people into the ball game in the third quarter. Whether or not we'll see another quarterback fourth quarter, because Bob Hoying actually has taken a pretty good pummeling today.
Yes, he has.
We're winding down to the end of the third quarter. 1 to go, and we'll be back with more action between the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Boston College Eagles after this message and a word from our ABC stations. He is not amused. He may even be a little bemused, but certainly he is thoughtful. Having watched what has transpired here this afternoon, Dan Henning probably expecting more out of his BC Eagles. Hard to know, though. I mean, to sit down and talk to him, because there have been bright spots, but the bright spots don't reflect much from the scoreboard. We go to the final quarter of play. Hoying's pass is complete and good for a first down. It was 3rd down and 3 on the 42, and D. Miller, a redshirt freshman into the ball game, made the catch for the first down. So Hoying has had a big game.
There's a stats through 3 quarters. Look at the number of plays. Ohio State had 18 plays on the opening drive, and they've drawn even with Boston College. And the time of possession also is pretty close. Total yards and the turnover. Boston College, that second turnover led to the touchdown by Ohio State.
Hoying is 16 out of 24 with a touchdown, and it's first down Buckeyes now at the 33-yard line of Boston College. This is Jermon Jackson, and the sophomore picks up 3. BC may be wearing down just a little bit along that defensive front too, because they've been in there most of the day. Morabito, O'Brien, Sullivan, Collinet. I have not called Stalin Collinet's name all day, Bob.
Yeah, and he's a young man right there on the end of the huddle, number 99. He's 6'7", supposed to take Mamula's place.
Yep.
He's from the New York area. He grew up in a tough neighborhood, speaks fluent Spanish, and likes classical music.
That's all right. Second down and 7. Little swing out to Jackson. Look at that big pace, shoving him around, getting him out of the way. No, that wasn't Pace. That was Sumner. Jamie Sumner. He's the fellow I said a while ago. I think he's going to grade out pretty well when the coaches look at the run blocking scores, offensive lineman scores. He has really been active, and he's a big one. He's 290 pounds, 6'4", out of Wichita.
Hartzell's had a tough day, Keith. But it's been a tough day all around. The defense for Boston College has really not stopped the Buckeyes in the second half. They've
Call it third down and short 4, long 3. Hoying with play action, and he misses Dudley on the run. He had Dudley available. All he had to do is put it on his hands, and he didn't do it. So Bob hangs his head a tad, coming back to the huddle. I'm not sure I'd have him out there. He's taken some licks in this ball game.
I don't think he'll be out there much longer.
In fact, he's coming off the field right now as Josh Jackson comes in for a field goal try. And Heinen's going to put it down. Brian's going to hold that just outside the 33. I think they're a man short. Oh, it's the first game of the season, folks.
If you had a blooper reel, that would make it right there.
Big ol' Eric Golston, offensive tackle. They needed him, and he went trotting back out on the field, and the ball almost hit him.
He did. He caught it.
Did he?
He caught it.
I couldn't tell if he did or not, but the ball was snapped just as he went and moved into the picture.
He's going to catch this ball. Watch this. Here he comes from the right side of your screen. Golston is 6'3" and 295. Watch, he's going to catch the ball, right? Snapped. Right there. Whoops.
He did catch it. Well run, Eric.
He's getting hit.
Oh, my goodness.
You know what? Porter is the center, and Golston and Porter are cousins.
I bet he did it on purpose.
Oh, I've never seen anything like that before.
He probably saw big old Eric coming into the picture, looking at him upside down, and popped it right through him.
Let's go back and take a look at this now. Here's Golston right now. He's coming in. Now he's going to get the snap, but that's not the real irony of this play. Watch this tight end. He's going to go out for a pass, and George is lined up. Watch as he's going to come around. This was a fake from the word go. Watch the receiver. The receiver goes out. George comes around. He was going to get the ball, and he was going to throw it or run it. It just so happened that Golston wasn't in. That was a fake all the way.
Oh, Lord of mercy. Hartzell is back. Throws it right through the hands of number 89, Todd Pollock. And it's incomplete. They had 10 people out there. They had set it up for a fake. George was apparently coming around and was going to take the pitch and throw the ball because number 89 for Ohio State had broken downfield to become a pass receiver.
He's talking right now. He says, you know, a couple of years ago when I was in high school, I used to line up at fullback on short yard, and we used to make that. He says, you see how I caught that ball? Maybe they'll put me in the backfield next week.
Hartzell, 1 of 8, gets the pass away to Brent Gibbons, and Gibbons is brought down by Shane Clark.
Both of these teams have tough schedules. After this week, Boston College has Virginia Tech there, and then back into the Big Ten against Michigan at home, and then they have to travel to East Lansing against Michigan State, and down the road they play at Notre Dame. Of course, they've got Miami in the Big East Conference. So
at least they got West Virginia up at Alumni Stadium this year. They don't have to go to Morgantown. They don't win much in Morgantown. That's the one place Doug Flutie never won. 3rd down and 10. Kenyatta Watson diving for the marker, and he's got it. Gets the ball up to the 45-yard line, and that'll be a 1st down for the Eagles. Here's Swanee.
Thank you, Keith. I am with Donna George, the mother of Eddie George. And Donna, you have to be tremendously excited about how your son is playing.
Oh, yes, I am. Just really overwhelmed behind his performance today. He's doing an excellent job. Matter of fact, the whole team is. I'm just really amazed.
Now, you're from Philadelphia. How many games do you get a chance to see during the course of the year?
I attend all of them. All the home and away games, yes.
Travel all the way up to Columbus.
Exactly, yes. Every weekend.
Now, I know your son is really a good young man. You probably still had to spank him in discipline when he was younger. Did he scoot away from you the way he's scooting through these defensive people?
Faster, much faster. We have to work on that.
Well, Donna, I know you're not alone. You take a look. We got a whole bunch of family, nieces and nephews, and I think they have strong opinions about their relative.
Yes, they do. They're here today and supporting him, and he's just setting an example, like I mentioned before, that they're here and supporting him, and he's just doing a wonderful job showing them that education and sports work well together.
Well, then we'll probably see you in Columbus later on during the year. Thank you. Kate?
All right, Swanee, the ball is picked off by Ohio State as Hartzell has a bad series. He throws the ball very hard that Kenyatta Watson can't handle. Now he overthrows a receiver down the middle, and Shea Bryant picks it off for the Buckeyes, and Ohio State has the ball back at their own 32-yard line. Stars and Stripes, the Goodyear blimp out of Pompano Beach, Florida, providing you with that picture coming from the hands and camera of Bob Rosedale and the ship piloted by Captain Richard Daniels. The 70th year Goodyear blimps have been covering the nation's top sporting events, and Stanley Jackson, number 8, is now in the ball game at quarterback for Ohio State. Ball is handed off to Jermon Jackson. And not much there. Stanley Jackson is a sophomore. He's from Paterson, New Jersey. And he's highly regarded. In case you wonder why he might have gone from Paterson, New Jersey to Ohio State, his high school coach is Lou Mathis, who was a defensive back at Ohio State in the early 70s. I remember him playing. I did games when Lou played.
You were doing games back then, huh?
Yes, I was.
All right.
2nd down and 9. He's a good player. Ball is underthrown. He had D. Miller, and he threw it behind him.
Well, this game has gone pretty much the way John Cooper would have liked it. His offense has played very well. His defense has only given up 6 points. His special teams have scored on a touchdown, and he's got a whole quarter to get in some young players to see what they can do. So never lost a season opener at Ohio State. And, in fact, I think Ohio State has won their last 8 games. This is Cooper's 8th year at Ohio State.
That ball is drilled to Miller at the 40-yard line. It is still short of a 1st down, however. It was 3rd down and 9. The catch was made at the 40, and so the Buckeyes will punt. Brent Bartholomew, 3rd punt. Last time he did a good job. He got it high and soft, and they were able to down it on 3. Now they just need him to whale it. Kenyatta Watson is waiting back inside the BC 20. Well, he had a crooked drop, and he hit the end of the ball, but he got a great roll out of it. Look at this. That's the rug. It'll give you that kind of action. You won't get it on the ground and grass, but it rolls all the way down to the 6-yard line and becomes a 54-yard punt.
Why you should catch those so you don't roll.
I've heard many a coach scream till he was hoarse, catch the ball. The Kickoff Classic on ABC Sports brought to you by Coors Light, shipped cold to preserve the clean taste of the Rockies. Coors Light tapped the Rockies. The United States Postal Service, we deliver for you. Full View TV, offering up to 350 channels. Full View TV, the satellite system with the best view. And Burger King, where you can get your burger's worth. Boston College, 4 starting spot here. Justice Smith, the single back. They put it in play just outside the 6-yard line. Hartzell chased out of the pocket, taken down at the 5. There's a loss of a yard. Everson went into the middle and stopped. Middle linebacker stepped up and covered him, and there was nobody else. Jeff Wilson made the tackle. Wilson played a lot in the second half. Out of the end zone, better throw it. Just barely got out of there.
Yeah. All the momentum and all of the excitement has gone out of this game for Boston College. Of course, when you're down 31-6 and you got the ball back inside your own 10-yard line, but there'll be better days for the Eagles.
Garnett, Winfield Garnett's in the ball game along the defensive front, along with John Day, Shane Clark out there, and Jeff Wilson. Seasoning time, and when you can season a team against an opponent like Boston College, you got to be proud of it. That's a good pass. There was some there was contact enough to cause him to fall down. I don't know if he got the first down or not.
I think he did. Look at this, Keith, as you mentioned earlier. The last 2 winners of this game, Florida State in '93 and Nebraska in '94, went on to win national championship. And Henning was heard to say earlier this week, he says, well, I hope Ohio State doesn't go on and win the championship, meaning he hoped he didn't lose this ball game. But that's not going to be the case. Ohio State is going to start off the season in fine fashion.
Obviously, he had his first down. They moved the ball, and the first play is a run for 2 yards by Justice Smith. 31-6 ball game. Time remaining, you see ticking away there. Hartzell sets up looking. He's got a man down the middle, and he dropped it. Dennis Harding, was nobody around him. He started looking for people, expecting the contact, and just simply dropped the ball. So concentration is gone when you see plays like that.
And John Cooper's got to be pleased, Keith, not only with this, but he seems to have his new 5-year contract agreed to. If it's not signed, I think
Gordon Gee hadn't signed it yet.
Yeah, everybody but the president has signed.
Yeah.
Cooper's been an outstanding coach anywhere he has gone. I remember at Arizona State, the last 3 years he was at Arizona State, he took them to bowl games. And since then, the 7 years since then, Arizona State has not been to a bowl game.
Justice Smith makes a one-hand pickup of the ball and gets just back, gains a yard on the play. Here's Lynn Swann.
Keith, Pete Kendall is not in the ball game. He's been replaced by number 78 Brian O'Connor. As I told you at halftime, he had a slight hamstring pull. It's been bothering him during the preseason. The coach sat him down. But keep in mind that Pete Kendall also came very close to foregoing his last year and turning pro. He tried to get as much information as he could about where he might be drafted, was a bit confused, but decided he would stay at Boston College for his senior year. But he should be back in a short period of time. Keith?
He also got an insurance policy, Keith, about injury for injury this year.
Little low line drive by Jason Malecki, and gets some roll out of it. Good for 38 yards, no return. And Ohio State's going to get the ball back at about the 43-yard line.
Well, think about what Ohio State would be with these young men. Dan Wilkinson left 2 years ago. He would be a senior this year. Craig Powell and Lorenzo Stiles, all 3 of those players would be defensive players. Powell and Stiles linebackers, Wilkinson a lineman. And Corey Stringer last year left early. He was a first-round draft choice. 3 of those 4 were first-round draft choices.
If they had Stringer and Pace both, Eddie George had run for 3,000 yards. This is Demetrius Stanley, a wide receiver, reversing it and getting a yard. And it's now just a matter of running out the clock. Time remaining in the ball game is 7 minutes and 35 seconds. The issue, I think, has been resolved at 31-6. Coming up next here on ABC Sports, we'll travel to Orlando, where Dan Marino and a tough team of NFL stars will take on flag football's national champions on NFL Air It Out from Universal Studios in Florida. Next here on ABC Sports. Kind of thing to scare coach to death. To have a guy like Dan Marino out there playing flag
well, you can
football.
be sure that no defensive guys got close to him.
Time called by the Buckeyes as Stanley Jackson wanted to talk with the coaches. Bob Hoying is now through for the day, I'm quite sure, with a lacerated chin, and he'll have some sore spots tomorrow because he got pummeled around pretty good. But he got the job done. He put 31 points on the scoreboard. Stanley Jackson is in there now. It is 2nd down and 9 for the Buckeyes. And Jackson flips the ball back. Goes to Pepe Pearson. And Pearson is out of bounds right at midfield. Now let's have a moment with Lynn Swann.
Well, Keith, the Kickoff Classic is a very important game to these teams, not just because of the roughly $600,000 that both teams receive, but also in terms of recognition to get more kids to come to their school. As a matter of fact, Ohio State already has 4 young men who have committed for 1996 based on reputation and how they feel they can do at Ohio State. Boston College is coming along well. They've had a couple of guys too, Bob, that have committed to their program. Keith?
Well, this is a prolific area for the whole country. I mean, Bob Devaney used to come to New Jersey and get some great players. Rich Glover, for example, just won the Hall of Fame. He came out of this area. This is Stanley Jackson showing his heels as an option quarterback and picking up a 1st down for Ohio State. That's a pretty good change of pace when you got a guy like this to put in the game.
Yes, it is. Good point. Henning was saying that, you know, the big reason they're playing is because of the $650,000 for the program and the notoriety and being on national television. And John Cooper said something very different. He says, we just wanted to get started sooner. We wanted to get practice time so we could be ready for the Huskies when we play them on the 16th of September.
Yeah, but you know, one of the problems John's going to have to fuss with, and he's probably going to have to get meaner than the Dickens about it. The Notre Dame game is coming up, and they're making more noise about that game in Ohio than they are about the Washington game.
Yeah, that's the end of
far.
September. Yeah, the 30th of September.
And this is a game. Pepe Pearson sort of tiptoeing, picks up a couple of yards on the play. But the key thing is to not get absorbed with Notre Dame and forget about somebody else. Get your ears pinned back.
Well, Coop was telling all the alumni back there in Columbus that, hey, don't look past Boston College. The last 2 years, Boston College beat Notre Dame and beat them handily. At least last year handily.
But it's been 60 years since the Irish and the Buckeyes played each other, and that's why there's such a appetite.
Oh, yes.
2nd down and 7. Jackson throws it to Ricky Dudley. And Dudley dropped it, and this time there's no possession. And he took a hit from Darrell Porter of Boston College. Time permitting, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental post-game report. Scores and highlights. There is to be told from about the country. Not much going on yet. This is sort of the clarion for the season. Everybody gets going pretty much next week.
Looking forward to that Miami-UCLA game, Keith. Miami with its new coach.
Jackson takes off. He saw all that green up the middle, and an option quarterback can't stand it when he's got that much green space. Those feet beckon, and away he goes. But he's short of the 1st down. It'll be 4th and a couple of yards. Matt Hasselbeck has been cranking up for Boston College, so we may see him in the next series at 5:45 to go in the ball game. They'll run a play. They will not kick on 4th and 2. Jackson pitches badly, to Jermon Jackson, and he runs out of bounds, and Boston College now will get good field position. If Matt Hasselbeck comes in, he's going to have a pretty good starting place at about the 48-yard line. And here he comes. Matt is 6'4", 205 pounds, sophomore out of Norfolk, Massachusetts. His daddy was Don Hasselbeck. Played at Colorado and with the Patriots.
And with the Raiders a little bit after that. Tight end, yeah, good player.
On 1st and 10. Fresh arm, bullet down the middle, incomplete. Pass intended for Scott Dragos, and it was a little bit behind him. Hasselbeck was the fellow, if you remember the Notre Dame game last year, was a holder on a field goal. A fake picked it up and ran for a big first down that led to a touchdown that kind of broke the Irish back. Got the Eagles going and went on to a big win. 2nd down and 10, ball at the 48.
Notre Dame should be good again this year, Keith. They had an off year last year. I think Ron Paulus and Derek Mays are going to be an outstanding passing combination.
Hangs on the offensive line.
Yep, that was their problem last year.
2nd down and 10. Hasselbeck's pass is intercepted. Dropping linebacker number 51, Rodell Dupree, a sophomore from Jersey City, New Jersey. That is the 4th turnover for Boston College. So at 5:11 to play in a ball game, the Buckeyes intercept and get it back. We have young Tom Hoying in at quarterback now, sophomore, 6'4", 221, the younger brother of the starter for the Buckeyes, Bobby Hoying, who's through for the day. He redshirted in 1993. Incidentally, the grandfather of these Hoying boys is Wally Post. Remember Wally from the Cincinnati Reds?
Sure do.
Great hitter. Fine outfielder. And lo and behold, Tom has to run on his first play. And he will move it from the 49 down to about the 42.
Well, if he had any butterflies, they had just left him because a little contact with one of the defensive backs. He's into the ball game now. I like this, Keith. I like getting the other quarterbacks in the game, get them a little feel for the game, and get them in earlier. I like that. I don't think the quarterback position is so sacred that you only have to play with one guy.
Jermon Jackson, a pretty swift move to get him to the outside, and a big play. All the way down to the 17-yard line. He got away from Shalom Toll-Free and was gone.
Well, the offensive line, a lot of the backups are in there. That's just a good move there. A lot of missed tackles for Boston College today. There's the second one, Toll-Free. Half, number 57, hasn't got the speed to catch him. Unless he slows up like he did.
So 1st down Buckeyes, and put it on the 16.
Happens quick.
Jackson again, this time nothing doing. The Eagles bust him pretty good. Right about the line of scrimmage. There have been 10 different rushers today for Ohio State and 8 different receivers, to tell you something about their depth. An ABC college football doubleheader at live at 3:30 Eastern time. The regional games leading off the day are Michigan, Illinois, Florida State, Duke, LSU, Texas A&M, Arizona State, Washington, and then the rest of the country will see in prime time Miami at UCLA or Colorado at Wisconsin. So check your local listings for the free game and call your cable operator for the games that might be available on pay-per-view in your area. It's a very modest price. Best buy in town, actually. Jermon Jackson going around to the right side, picks up about 3 yards on the carry. You know, these the Hoying brothers are from the little town of St. Henry, Ohio. There was another guy, a couple of guys that came out of that town that made a name for themselves, and one of them is still working on it. Jim Lachey, of course, the all-pro tackle, was a great player. But there's a fellow over in State College, Pennsylvania, that came out of there as well. Jeff Hartings. Not too bad. Jeff Hartings.
Oh, Jeff Hartings, yes. The offensive lineman.
Yeah, good player.
Yes, sir.
All-American. That ball is thrown behind the intended receiver, Demetrius Stenley.
You know, Keith, you're talking about the Colorado-Wisconsin game next Saturday night. I'm looking forward to seeing Colorado with Rick Neuheisel and Ty Detmer, son, the Detmer quarterback, and see if they bring in the passing that UCLA had, where Neuheisel was the years that he was there.
Well, they got a chance to be a pretty good football team. You don't know until they play. And going into Madison to open up, not easy. Look. Lofted, his man's wide open. Touchdown, Demetrius Stenley. Into the ball game and gets a touchdown.
He said, "Hey, brother, this ain't so hard, brother."
Yeah, say, hey, man, did you see the touch, brother? Big brother. Jackson for the extra point, and it's good. And it's a 38-6 ball game. Wayne Horings played quarterback at Iowa State for Earl Bruce, and when Earl went over as the head coach at Ohio State, he was there for a time as an assistant. There's a lot of football in that family.
So look from ground level behind the defense. Wide receiver on this side is just going to run a post corner, going to break to the inside and out. Hoying does a nice job of giving it some air, throwing it far enough and then giving it some air so it just gets out past the defensive back to the receiver.
The executive producer of ABC Sports is, go ahead, I'll wait. You see they're picking on Guston again. He got him turned the wrong way and couldn't recover and get back to him. Executive producer of ABC Sports is Jack O'Hara. Coordinating producer of ABC's college football, Bob Goodrich, who also produced today's game. Associate coordinating producer for college football is Jim Ressler, and it was directed by Jim Jeanette, with whom I have been working for better, 30 years, Jimmy. Nice to see you again. Technical director Gary Larkins, associate director Bruce Clark, our production manager Robbie Weiss, technical operations manager Stefan Petrat, the assistants to the producer Mark Loomis and Bob O'Mara, the statistician, beard getting gray, Dave Burnson, spotter Todd Bell. Mark Demento on computer stats. And our sideline coordinator, Matt Panagiotis. I wanted to say that, Matt, just to prove that I could mess up your name. That fellow laughing in the corner is Bob Greasy.
I don't want to do that.
High kick. Oh, my goodness. Well, somebody took the top off the rain barrel now, and everybody's trying to get in it because the concentration, as Bob said a long time ago, gone after that long drive in the third quarter. That pretty much did it. And now it's simply a matter of running out the clock, and you've got 2 minutes and 42 seconds remaining to play. He just simply looked away from the ball. He did not look it into his hands.
What'd you say? Would you say that something took off over the rain barrel or something?
No. I said they took the cover
the lid
off the rain barrel,
off the
and
rain
everybody's
barrel.
falling in.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, what are you going to do? You
Took the lid off the rain
You got to
barrel.
find something. It's I'm tired of saying it the same way. See, he dropped the ball. Stone fingered it.
Well, it was a good day for Ohio State, and there'll be better days for Boston College.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Indeed. There is a thing of parody about college football these days, but it's also that irrevocable truth where particularly young people are involved, and that's called attitude, it's enthusiasm, it's courage,
Heart, determination, desire,
enthusiasm, those things that get you to do things. Look at that. See, they just simply can't catch the ball now. They get you to do things that you didn't know you could do. And that's one of the things that comes along in the game of college football, like yesterday. That game yesterday. I mean, with 4 minutes to play, you think Michigan's going to win that ball game?
Nope, no way.
How. That's right. So that's part of the magic of it. They're down 17-0, the biggest comeback in the history of Michigan football, which is a prolific history. But they'll have their chance against this Ohio State team when the cold November days come along too. 2:24 remaining as that ball is thrown out of bounds, and it's 4th and 10, and here's Swanee.
Well, Keith, I know you were talking about John Cooper and his new contract and waiting for one signature. I just had a chance to talk to the president, Gordon Gee. He just came back from his honeymoon. He said on Friday he signed the contract. So now I guess we just wait for the Board of Trustees to approve it.
Way to go, Doc. I'm glad.
About time, right?
Yep. I'm also glad he stayed at Ohio State. Because I like him, and I like Ohio State.
Ohio State has won more games the last 3 years in the Big Ten than any other school.
Terry Glenn dropped the ball, picks it up, and gets a little bit of a return out of it. Not much, but again, there was somebody taking a peek.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Terry Glenn's still in the ball game.
I am too.
But again, Cooper, the last 3 years, has won more games than any other school in the Big Ten. But
Stanley Jackson comes back as a quarterback now.
Yeah.
See if he can get a touchdown.
But I think what you said earlier, Keith, is very true, that Penn State is the team to beat in the Big Ten. Simply because of their schedule. It favors them.
Well, I tell you what, Jackson put that one on the money, rolling out, didn't he? That's a hard pass to throw. Right-hander rolling to his left.
Yes. But I like the fact that Jackson got back in. Let him throw a little bit now. Hoying got a touchdown. Tommy Hoying.
Well, you figured Dreisbach is headed for his first case of tendonitis after throwing 52 passes yesterday? Ooh, boy, that's a lot.
He said he didn't know if he was just going to throw 10.
Speaking of that, Stanley Jackson rolling out, scrambling around, and gets something. Oh, he may have picked up a first down. No, they call him out before that. Doug Flutie, the legendary quarterback at Boston College, of course, little Doug. He's up at Calgary in the Canadian Football League. Darren is over with the BC Lions, but Doug is struggling this year with some tendonitis in his right shoulder because they really throw the ball around up there.
Oh, yeah.
But he's still exciting. I mean, he's still scrambling around.
Same type of player.
Oh,
isn't he?
yeah.
Well, he has to be. That's his personality. That's the way he gets it done.
2nd down and 2. There's the first down. So a lot of people getting to play. Boston College brought 66 on Thursday, and the other 26 players in the program came down by bus on Saturday. They've got 96 total people in the program. And Ohio State's got something like 97. $85 scholarships allowable now. Oh, everybody walk-ons. This is Jermon Jackson, pinned down at the 35-yard line as we head for 1:20 to play in the ball game. 38-6, the Ohio State Buckeyes winning their first game of the season, the opener. And in 2 weeks, we'll play the Washington Huskies, who are off probation. Auburn, Washington, Texas A&M, all off probation now.
See A&M for the first time in a few years.
And all going to be pretty good, particularly, I think, Auburn and Texas A&M. Here's a handoff to Josh Jenkins, big old fullback, 220 pounds, playing at the tailback position. The genuine Chevrolet most valuable players of the game are Eddie George with 157 total yards and 2 touchdowns. He's from Ohio State. And Justice Smith from Boston College. Justice, 24 carries, 119 yards. Celebrating its 25th year of NCAA sponsorship, Chevrolet donates $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. And they're letting the clock tick down. Your final score, Ohio State 38, Boston College 6. And so these two teams will go on to their next adventure, with Ohio State in particular having an impressive opening performance in the 13 Kickoff Classic at Giant Stadium at the Meadowlands.